we spent all of advanced algebra, well, pretty much all of advanced algebra, looking at the graphs and looking at how graphs looked and being able to identify different functions based on graphs. And the reason we did that is because it's very easy to be able to analyze a function if I know a general idea of what the function actually would look like on a graph. So, just as a reminder, these were the basic graph shapes that we went through the entire time. Okay, we have a constant function, so just like for this one, it would be like f of x equals 2. It's just a flat line. Remember, it's like y equals mx plus b. I have 0x. I have no x's. That means my slope is 0. It's a flat line. Okay, our linear parent function, just it's some slanted line in some way, positive slope, negative slope. We did absolute value. The absolute value gave you the v. The quadratic, the u. Okay, that's how we had a parabola. Okay, quadratic gave you a u. Okay, I'll look at cubic as well. Cubic kind of looks like the little S-looking thing. It also could have something like that. Notice it has cubic, x to the cubed, has 2 bumps. Quadratic, x squared, only has 1 bump. What do you think x to the 4th would look like in general? Probably something with 3 bumps. So 1, 2, 3 bumps. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. However many bumps you have is 1 less than your exponent. So like right here, x to the 1st should have 0 bumps, 1 less than that. Okay, square root and cubed root. Remember, square root goes in one direction, like the quadratic. Cubed root, it's a good band. It's not one direction. It goes both directions. Your reciprocal, this is the one that had the asymptotes idea, possibly vertical or horizontal asymptotes. All right, and these bottom ones are the ones we didn't look at as much, but are really important to look at. The first one, the exponential function. What I mainly want you to look at, exponentials can never be negative. If I take any number and raise it to some power, I'm not going to be able to get a positive value or a negative value. So if I take 2 to any number, even if it's in a negative 5th, it's still going to be a positive number. E to the x, we'll talk about what e is here in a little bit. E is just some number kind of like pi. So that's just any number, whether it's 2 to the 5th or e to the 6th or 3rd or whatever, or I could even do pi to the 7.2 power if I wanted to. Okay, now logarithmics are just the inverses of exponentials. The main thing to look at here, you can never take the log of a negative number. So it only starts here in the 1st and 4th quadrants. Alright, and the main ones here for the trig functions, here's all I want you to remember. Sine and cosine, just think about going around the unit circle. Eventually you're going to repeat. Your sine values were the y values, your cosine values were the x values. So what we're looking at here in terms of a graph is just that as you go around a unit circle, eventually you're going to get right back where you started again, and then you'll have values repeating. So you should have these harmonic ideas. It keeps going forever. The main thing to remember between sine and cosine is what is sine of 0. Sine of 0, if you look at your unit circle, the y value here is 0. Whereas cosine of 0, the x value of 0 is 1. So that's the main difference between sine and cosine. Now, tangent kind of looks almost like a cubic graph, just repeated over and over again with all these asymptotes. So that's the main way you can kind of identify something looking like a tangent graph. But the main ones are these top 8 up here, and being able to identify between sine and cosine. And then I'd say also the next big one would be the exponential. So those are in order, I would say, the ones you should be trying to remember just the basic shapes of. And what we're going to have are lots of little quizzes. And one of the questions on every quiz is identifying what type of graph that we have.